By the end of this video, you'll understand 5 things that Biden mentioned regarding real estate in his State of the Union address. Because so many of you watching feel that real estate is unaffordable. So in this video, I'll let you know if anything he mentioned addresses that. By the way, I guarantee you'll be surprised by the last thing he mentioned. So make sure you stay till the end. But first, I need you to hit that subscribe button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you have to follow this channel. Also, be sure to check out the description of this video. I have a bunch of free resources that'll help you get started in real estate investing. The first thing we're going to talk about is the mortgage relief credit. President Biden is calling on Congress to pass a mortgage relief credit that will provide middle-class first-time homebuyers with an annual tax credit of $5,000 per year for 2 years. This is the equivalent of reducing the mortgage rate by more than 1.5 percentage points for 2 years on the median home and will help more than 3.5 million middle-class families purchase their first home over the next 2 years. And for those who don't know what a tax credit is, according to the IRS, a tax credit is a dollar-for-dollar amount that taxpayers claim on their tax return to reduce the income tax they owe. Eligible taxpayers can use them to reduce their tax bill and potentially increase their refund. So the first thing is, a tax credit is not going to help anyone buy a home. The median household income in the US is about $75,000, and in Q4 of 2023, the median home price was about $417,000. Someone making about $75,000 or a household making about $75,000 can comfortably afford the mortgage on a property that's roughly $189,000. To be honest, this credit doesn't fix the most pressing issue, which is affordability. And I guarantee everyone watching can agree affordability is a tremendous issue, especially in certain cities. And so I was hoping that this first thing would address that. I would also love to know exactly who these middle-class families are. What states are they in? Because if you're in California, if you're in New York City, I don't think this is going to help you at all. Let's check out the second part of this. Many homeowners have lower rates on their mortgages than current rates. This lock-in effect makes homeowners more reluctant to sell and give up that low rate, even in circumstances where their current home no longer fits their household needs. The president is calling on Congress to provide a 1-year tax credit of up to $10,000 to middle-class families who sell their starter home, defined as homes below the area median home price in the county, to another owner occupant. This is estimated to help nearly 3 million families. So let's talk about interest rates. According to Redfin, 89% of people with mortgages have rates below 6%. And as we know today, rates have been around 7%, a little bit less or higher, so above 6%. In my opinion, a $10,000 credit is not going to motivate someone to give up their 3, 4, 5% interest rate for a home that's going to be more expensive at above 6%. I don't think a $10,000 credit is enough of an incentive for someone who has a mortgage that's comfortable, that they can afford, and can't afford to upsize if they want to because of the prices and how crazy they've risen over the last couple of years. So this doesn't actually make any sense to me. I also don't understand why somebody will potentially sell their home for less than they can just because the buyer is an owner occupant. I would assume the overwhelming majority of those who are selling their homes are trying to get as much money as they can from whoever can pay, regardless if it's an investor, if it's an owner occupant. I mean, in many cities, owner occupants, people who plan to live in the property, can't afford it anyway. So sometimes an investor is going to give the best deal. And I encourage you out there, if you are ever going to sell your property, try to get as much money as you can. Why wouldn't you? And so I think this tax credit pales in comparison to the profit someone can get from simply selling their home for top dollar. Those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. So the next issue to me simply puts a band-aid on the larger issue, but you let me know what you think. The president continues to call on Congress to provide up to $25,000 in down payment assistance to first-generation home buyers whose families haven't benefited from the generational wealth building associated with home ownership. This proposal is estimated to help 400,000 families purchase their first home. So this doesn't address the large issue. I'm going to keep saying it until you understand. The large issue is that homes in so many cities are simply unaffordable for the average American. I don't think this addresses that. In my opinion, we're past the point of needing only down payment assistance. The fact of the matter is, for so many of you, I could give you 20, 25% as a down payment, as a gift, and you still may not be able to afford the mortgage. That's the problem we're having, especially in coastal cities. If you look at New York City, if you look at Miami, if you look at Los Angeles, the Bay Area, Seattle, the average person cannot afford these mortgages. They cannot afford these properties. So you let me know in the comments. Look at the average price of a home in your area. Look at what the estimated mortgage would be. If I covered your down payment, would you be able to to afford the mortgage? Let me know. I'm going to keep it real. I almost laughed when I read this next section. So let's check it out. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has approved policies and pilots to reduce closing costs for home buyers, including a pilot to waive the requirement for lenders' title insurance on certain refinances. This would save thousands of homeowners up to $1,500 and an average of $750, and the lower upfront fees will unlock substantial savings for homeowners as mortgage rates continue to fall and more homeowners are able to refinance. Stop the press. Stop the press right now. I don't know anybody who's looking to refinance right now. We literally just spoke about the fact that almost 90% of people with mortgages have rates below 6%. So I have no idea why anybody would refinance at a higher interest rate. It literally makes absolutely no sense. Let me know if you know anybody looking to refinance. And again, refinancing is not free. According to Freddie Mac, the average closing cost for a refinance is $5,000, and the size of your loan and where you live impact how much you pay. I don't see anybody refinancing at a higher rate for the possibility that they'll save $750. So yeah, I'm going to refinance my home. I'm going to get a higher rate so I can maybe save $750 to $1,000. It makes no sense. So the next section actually had some things that I agreed with. President Biden is calling for an expansion of the low-income housing tax credit to build or preserve 1.2 million more affordable rental units. Renters living in these properties save hundreds of dollars each month on their rent compared with renters with similar incomes who rent in the unsubsidized market. The president is also calling for a new neighborhood homes tax credit, the first tax provision to build or renovate affordable homes for home ownership, which would lead to the construction or preservation of over 400,000 starter homes in communities throughout the country. So on the surface, I actually think this is a solid idea. The question that I have is, where are these starter homes going to be? Are they going to be in the Midwest? Are they going to be in the Northeast, in the South, on the West Coast? Are they going to be in Texas? I would want more information on where exactly they envision these starter homes will be, how much they will cost the buyer, how much they will cost the builder. Those are some of the questions that I have. So on the surface, it sounds like a solid idea, but there is quite a bit of more detail that's missing from it. Let's read the rest of it. The president is unveiling a new $20 billion competitive grant fund as part of his budget to support communities across the country to build more housing and lower rents and home buying costs. This fund would support the construction of affordable multifamily rental units, incentivize local actions to remove unnecessary barriers to housing development, pilot initiative models to increase the production of affordable and workforce rental housing, and spur the construction of new starter homes for middle-class families. So I think the good part about this is removing the barriers to development. In so many cities around the country, there's just way too much red tape and folks saying they want to solve the issue of the lack of inventory, but they make it so hard to develop and build. So I think that on the surface is a good idea to me. Similar to the previous point, as far as the starter homes for middle-class families, I need more detail. Where are these going to be? How much are they going to cost? It's kind of vague. So I don't really know how I feel about that part of it because it's not really telling me anything. All right, when I read this last section we're going to talk about, I honestly wanted to stop reading. I wanted to stop reading because it literally made no sense to me, and I don't think it's going to help anyone. You'll have to let me know what you think about that. President Biden is also taking actions to lower costs and promote housing stability for renters. The White House blueprint for a renter's bill of rights lays out the key principles of a fair rental market and already catalyzed new federal actions to make those principles a reality. So I actually had an opportunity to skim through the Renters Bill of Rights, and I'll make sure I link it for you to check out on your own. And I actually think it's going to make the landlord and tenant relationship more complicated, more contentious. I don't think it really helps, if you ask me. To me, it didn't seem like it promoted any balance in the landlord-tenant relationship, and quite frankly, I think it's going to infringe upon the property rights of landlords, especially those who are good landlords, which is, I believe, the majority of people, especially the smaller mom and pop landlords. I think it's going to make it a lot difficult for us. And I'm also curious to know how much control the individual states would have over implementing some of the things that have been recommended in the Renters Bill of Rights. So that remains to be seen. Overall, there isn't much in here that really helps with the biggest problem we have, which is affordability. In my opinion, most of it really won't help at all. You let me know what you think. Also, this isn't a political video. I don't care who you vote for whoever you're comfortable with. I just wanted to give my opinion and share some of the real estate aspects of the State of the Union address and how may impact you as an investor. I know the market is crazy right now, but be encouraged, educate yourself as much as possible, maximize your income, save your money. And if you find a good deal, take it. Don't wait for rates to drop. Don't even wait for prices to drop. If you find something that you can afford that meets your goals, meets your qualifications for what you need, either to live in or as an investor, just take it. Now that you know about the real estate aspects of the State of the Union address, I want you to learn about how much home you can afford based on salary. Check out this video right here.